California. I think you're important enough to be here. I think this is what important something in this school. But I know that that is true. Jokes on them.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say you showered this morning, but I didn't want
They
that.
say for not just for you, Maya.
I heard a tree at a concert and people raced to this spot. When you sit up front, it's harder to scroll through your phone. Way with it.
Well, it was tough to roll.
Good morning, everyone. It is now 10 a.m. We ask you if you're able to please rise for the opening prayer and pledge of allegiance before we begin our Commissioners' public meeting. Heavenly Father, assembled this morning as we enter into a new season of the year to conduct the business of the county. We pray for your guidance and clarity to guide us each day. May we engage in meaningful discussion, provides a sense of unity. And on Sunday, we'll remember the Gold Star Mothers and Family Day. Our hearts are with those that have lost a son or daughter in service of our country. Comfort those that have lost these precious heroes by protecting our freedoms. And Lord, we just celebrated the birthday of the United States Constitution. And the men and women of the armed services took a solemn oath to honor and defend a document that has survived war after war, stands for our freedoms. They are the ones that had the courage to defend one of the greatest gifts, our freedoms outlined so eloquently. Lord, also on Sunday, we'll remember the veterans of foreign wars. From its origin in 1899 by a group of veterans, it has grown to the largest group of combat veterans. The VFW promotes patriotism and goodwill. Their generosity has provided military assistance, community service programs to their local communities, and we thank you for these men and women who continue to show your love by helping their communities with their dedication and service. Father, we pray that our efforts this morning will be in accordance with your will. These things we humbly pray in your name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. This time we'll convene the Commissioners' public meeting and we'll ask for approval of the previous meetings.
I will make a motion.
I'll second. All fair say aye. Aye. Do we have any public comments on the agenda at this time? Are you online?
Not online.
Okay. Move on. We have some awards today from the sheriff. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning. Director. Yes, sir. Folks, how y'all doing? Not snowing yet, right? Hurricane, I did report the hurricane's gonna go out to sea. You already did go out to sea, didn't you?
I think it's gonna go through Florida.
I canceled the Florida hurricane. But we certainly want to keep those folks in our our thoughts, because you can imagine a Cat 3 or Cat 4 coming up through Florida. Today, we're here to recognize two of our uniform division deputies, and apologize for the delay in these awards. They actually, one incident occurred July of last year, and the second incident occurred in September of last year. We were in the middle of a move, and we were being relocated through the summer last year. So sometimes these awards aren't easy to get. We order this hardware, and sometimes it doesn't come in very, very quickly. The first recognition that I want to do actually is out of order. We're going to do the one that actually occurred first, was July 27 of 2023. Sergeant Brian Kepner was on his way home. He left the office a little after 5, and he was on 180 traveling, I guess it would be east on 180. He was actually approaching Cemetery Road. It was raining. It's a driving rain. He sees the brake lights and vehicle stopping. And as he gets closer, he realizes there's a motorcyclist down and bike's down, and the motorcyclist is down. Sergeant Kepner activates his emergency lights, gets out of his vehicle in this driving rain with all this traffic and traffic mayhem. Crashes are by nature are just total mayhem, especially when you talk about 180, as busy as that road is. Sergeant Kepner immediately was directed to a location where what he found was a motorcycle rider who was not breathing, and due to his injuries, it was obvious he was not able to be resuscitated. But Sergeant Kepner arrived quickly, was able to slow traffic down, stop traffic very quickly. Sadly, this individual was struck by multiple vehicles, could not be resuscitated, but Sergeant Kepner's, obviously his effort to go there, to arrive at a scene, and for those of you who have done it know what I'm talking about. Those of you who've never done it, to arrive at a traumatic scene involving traumatic injury is something that special people do. Special people are people like those of us who are the men and women in blue, as well as our first responders. It's not easy to do that, not easy to watch, not easy to sometimes overcome what you see, but we do it every day. And this is a situation where he went out of his way to make sure he was going to be able to do something if he could. I suppose theoretically he could have just left his lights off and driven by. He's in an unmarked, in one of our trucks. Our trucks are designed to be undercover and undetectable vehicles, so nobody would have known what he was other than a pickup truck with a cap. But he did respond, and he did try to do what he could do to help this gentleman, and he was unable to do that. And as a result of that effort, and all that he did to prevent any other injuries on that section of highway at 5 o'clock, driving a rainy day, he will be recognized, and I'll let Chief Spiegel read to you the award. Want to come up, Scott? I'm sorry,
Ryan.
not Scott. Sergeant, when you get to my age, you don't know who's who. Sergeant Kepner.
Before I give this award, I want to say the residents of Lycoming County, as well as the sheriff's office, we're extremely grateful to have these two individuals. They go above and beyond almost on a daily basis, and they don't do it for these awards, but these awards are, when you do receive one, they're greatly appreciated. And I will add, this award that they will be receiving today is one of the highest awards that we give in the sheriff's office. They are greatly deserving of it. With that said, the Distinguished Service Award, we hereby honor Sergeant Ryan Kepner, a dedicated deputy awarded
by the Sheriff of Lycoming County to a deputy who individually distinguishes himself by performing exceptionally in service or stressful situations with exceptional tact and judgment. Sergeant Kepner did so on July 27, 2023, while off duty. Sergeant Kepner did assist with a fatal motorcycle accident on Interstate 80, Lycoming County. Issued this 26th day of September, 2024.
Shy. I'm gonna keep him with the commissioner's office every day because he's never shy, but shy today. So thank you for all you do. And sure, I don't know if you want to.
Thank you, Ryan. Sheriff, your officers, the men and women of your department, for years have gone above and beyond. I recall 20 years ago, I come up the highway to work one morning on a double fatality. And at that time, Deputy Sheriff Kemp, who went on to become a district justice, had stopped to try to help some of the victims. And myself and another probation officer had stopped. And what you see is horrific. And, watching somebody take their last breath is even worse. I'm trying to help those individuals. And so what you see and what you do on a daily basis is something that you just don't go home and forget about. And it's part of your service. And we want to thank your department. Like you said, Ryan could have kept going, but he did, because this is what first responders do. They run into fires, they run into the building, they run to the emergency when other people are fleeing from it. That's why they're heroes. Thank you, Ron.
I was just gonna say, Scott's been here a while. Mark and I are new. We just started in January. And as we've learned about our county and government, and kind of sometimes we have these stereotypes of what government work does. Whenever something with law enforcement, why it's always a donut shop. I don't know why it's always a donut shop.
Only donuts.
When we, one of the things that I learned quickly and I'm reminded of every day is how seriously they take their job. You never hear we're off duty. You never hear, that I'm punched out. When things come up, whether it's Little League, whether it's a local carnival, whether it's the flood, the dedication of the sheriff and his department is, I've been beyond impressed. There's no cutting corners. If you ever get a text or an email from the sheriff,
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
get yourself a snack and a beverage because you're going to be there a while, because there are chapters, and just the care that they have. And again, nobody gets rich doing this job, and it is not only is it not glamorous, sometimes it is ugly. And it's a lot of it's stuff that some of the stuff they deal with I could do, some of the stuff they deal with I don't know if I could do. And it takes special people to do it, and we are lucky to have them.
That's what I would follow up on. It takes a special person. Not everybody's cut out to do the job that you guys do. And thank you, Sergeant Kepner, for doing the off-duty work. As Mark Messina said, you guys never stop. You may be off duty, but your mind, your culture still requires you almost to do it. So we appreciate that. I know you don't want to talk or be on the spot, but do you also have family here today?
I do not.
You do not. Okay. I know there's some people here, so. Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner.
He just has fans.
Thank you, Ron.
Do you want to? You don't want Lusk in the picture too, do you?
I want an award for those middle of the night emails.
You should get a Pulitzer.
Okay, the next award, it's close to home for me. It was September 18th, 2023. It's about 4:40 p.m. Deputy Scott Lose. Scott, come on up. Deputy Scott Lose is on his way home. Difference between Deputy Scott Lose and Sergeant Kepner, other than rank, is Sergeant Kepner had a sheriff's unit that he was assigned to. Scott was on his way home in his POV. Scott was one of those deputies who loved the sheriff's office so much he left full-time and came back part-time. Commissioners, we should have you examined or warded, right? Anyway, he's on his way home and he comes, goes up Mountain Road, which is over where he lives, Masters Township, comes upon a motorcycle and a motorcycle operator who is separated from the motorcycle. Motorcycle operator is unresponsive. He's on the side of the road about 60 feet from the bike. He has no pulse, he's not breathing, and he's in cardiac arrest. Scott, at that point, started CPR, and I believe Scott was at a point on that road where if you went 5 feet, you had reception, and if you went 5 feet this way, you didn't. So he's trying to get reception while he's trying to do critical CPR to a patient. A nurse happens by, and after Scott starts CPR, she now is doing CPR with Scott. They're able to get a connection to get EMS to respond, and fire rescue to respond. They perform CPR for probably 10 to 15 minutes until the BLS rig or the ALS rig, for one or the other or both, arrive. And they worked, what we call it in the field, they worked the victim very, very aggressively. Not able to convert him, and he subsequently succumbs to his fall and his injuries. I heard the call, and at that time I didn't know that Scott was involved. And at that moment, when I heard the call on the air, I didn't know that it was Fred Morse was the victim. Fred Morse lives in Masters Township, not far from where he crashed. Fred Morse happens to be the husband of my cousin, who is Doris. We called her Snooky when we grew up. We had our family reunions. Called her Snooky. She and Fred were married for 66 years, and he has ridden motorcycle with her ever since they met each other, knew each other when they were back in school. Scott came upon this scene. He's all alone. He's trying to get a connection to 911. He's using his skills, and he, by the grace of God, he's there to do whatever can be done to resuscitate Fred. And at 85 years old, Fred passed. Another example of how we come upon these scenes and we find some of the worst that goes on, but we do the best of the best to take care of the worst of the worst. So there's, it's a bittersweet pill. Our units, we just don't work in the courthouse. Our units, we're all over this county. We put about 150 to 200,000 miles on our fleet a year. So our vehicles are fully equipped with trauma equipment. Our personnel are trained, and they know to react. And they know what the edict of the office is, and that is, if there's an emergency within close proximity to you, I don't care if it's fire rescue, EMS, police, EMA, they go and they help as much as they can. And in both of these cases, we had two deputies who did everything they could do to try to make it better. And sometimes life does what life does, and God does what God does, and you can't change it. But it doesn't mean that we don't try. And Scott is a perfect example of that. He, like Sergeant Kepner, has been an excellent deputy, very attuned to what goes on. He came from the prison. I don't, if the prison's listening, I don't recruit at the prison. My deputies know that. We always have this staffing situation in the county. You always kind of hop around sometimes, but we don't actively recruit prison. But sometimes prison staff come and want to change. And Scott wanted that change, and he came with us, and he worked a long time with us, and then left and said, I want to help you part-time, so he's now down front. So with that, I'll let the chief explain the work. Thank you.
So the Distinguished Service Award, we hereby honor Deputy Scott Lose, a dedicated deputy awarded by the Sheriff of Lycoming County to a deputy who individually distinguishes himself by performing exceptionally in service or stressful situations with exceptional tact and judgment. Deputy Lose did so on September 18th, 2023. While off duty, Deputy Lose did assist with a fatal motorcycle accident on Mountain Road in Bastrop Township. Issued this 26th day of September, 2024.
Before Scott introduces, or tell you what, we'll have Scott introduce his family. And then I'm going to ask, Bill Leck to come up, who is the son-in-law of Fred. He's married to my cousin Cindy. So Scott, let's introduce your family. And I want to make special note that Tom is here, Scott's dad, and Tom is 96 years young. And where is Tom? There he sits, right in front.
Thank you guys for the training you've given us. That's without that, it's, wouldn't be able to do what we do, for sure. But starting out here, this is my dad, Tom Lose. This is my granddaughter, Scarlett, my grandson, Kai, my daughter, Haley. This is my nephew, Johnny, my son, Daniel, and my granddaughter, Madison, my wife, my son Ruben. This is my sister Paulette back there, my brother-in-law John, which I've known longer than a lot of my sisters. My little sister Missy, my sister Judy, and my sister Lori, and my sister Chrissy.
That's the test.
I did.
You just learned those names.
I did. I have a note here.
Glad to see you.
Do you want to?
Scott, I'm glad to see you know your family tree.
Yes, yes, as straight as it may be. Yeah, it's never expected when you're driving along and something like that happens. It stays with you. It really does for a while. It does. It really does. I was scared to death to meet Fred's family today at all. The last time you seen their loved one, it wasn't a good situation. So, I wasn't looking forward to that today, but I'm glad that I am. So, yeah, it's things that will just bounce in your head. It just for no uncertain reason. You don't know why. It just happens, and you see it a lot. So, but thank the Lord, He helps us through those situations.
Okay, I'm gonna have Bill. Come on up, Chief. Bill is an old Lycoming County boy. He learned his fire service trade at Du Bois Town. He goes to a place called Trucksville. Sounds like something on a TV show. He goes to a place called Trucksville, and he's about the firefighter about 40 years. He's a fire chief, as I was a fire chief. He was a fire chief for 19 years. He's a slow learner. I was one for 25 years. I was a slower learner. But Bill's to represent the family. Cindy tried her best to come here today, but very emotional about this. They were very close family. So, Bill, I'd like you to.
I just like to say thank you for everything. Fred, appreciate this. On behalf of yours.
Commissioners, any comment?
Bill, we're sorry for your loss. And again, to the Sheriff's Department, thank you for what you do, Scott. No matter what it is, I mean, you've helped people with heart attacks in the courthouse and outbursts in the courthouse. If there's ever an outburst in the courthouse, you hear it's like a herd of elephants running down the hallway to get to the disturbance. And
We've changed the culture. The commissioners, especially this board, very receptive to us helping the public. And we're all elected to help the public, to be here when people need us. And what perfect conduit to help the public than to have the training we have that we need for our mission, our primary mission, but to be able to help people. And I can tell you a story. My first year here, we had a heart attack across the street. and I sent deputies over to the heart attack. And I was questioned why we crossed the street. That was ancient history, and it's not that way today. We realize as a thin blue line isn't just a thin blue line. It's all of us together that help people, that call 911, that assist however you can assist, and you in the public, whether you're trained or not, getting the call to us and us responding and everybody helping everybody, because that's what life should be about.
When you need that help, we'll make sure that anyone's there to assist, especially someone who's trained. The sheriff's department is trained. And again, thank you for your service, Scott, and everyone, all the men and women of your department.
I just wanted to clarify for the kids here. When the sheriff said we got Scott from the prison, he worked there. He wasn't.
Put on his application. I said I came from the prison. Thank you, commissioners, always for your support. I was learning.
Scott, thank you for your service.
Do you want to get a picture? You people want to get a picture with both of them together? Is that? If you just stand up. Don't stand up.
Don't hold hands.
I was just gonna say.
No holding hands.
That's to look tough.
Not a job description. Thank you, everybody.
To the Lowe's family, thank you for being here today. You have every reason to be proud, and we're so thankful that you're here today with joining this moment. Thank you. Now, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't want to. We won't subject to that.
I mean, it's rude if you leave.
We're okay.
We also want to welcome our students from West Branch Christian School. And thank you for being here today. And we look forward to having you throughout the meeting. If you have any questions at the end of the meeting, we'll be glad to answer them for you. So thank you.
Yep. We're moving on to 3.0 reports. Nikki?
Good morning.
Morning, Nikki.
How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I'm asking you to approve the accounts payable cash requirement report for invoices due through October 2nd, 2024, to be paid on 9/25/2024 in the amount of $2,005,178.08.
Okay, we'll have a motion to accept.
I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. This time we'll recess the Commissioners' Public Meeting for the Salary Board. Meeting salary boards this time.
Okay, first, can we vote to approve the salary board minutes from September 5th, 2024?
I have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make it.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then approve the following salary board actions. Facilities management, delete the part-time electrician from the TDA. And in the controller's office, delete the lead payroll AP specialist from the TDA.
Okay. Motion to delete the positions.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Questions or comments? To our HR director, you had mentioned a figure the other day, savings, 85 to 90,000 savings. Tremendous. Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nikki?
Aye, sorry.
Okay. Thank you. This time we'll adjourn the salary board and we'll reconvene the Commissioners' Public Meeting. Thank you.
5.1, Mike, personal actions.
Good morning.
Morning.
Approve the following personnel actions as conditional offers of employment, subject to the successful completion of a background check and all other employment conditions as outlined in attachment A. Light day today, we have one for the prison, Hunter Shedden, correctional officer, union position, full-time at $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. This is an anticipated start date, October 7, 2024.
Okay, got a motion to accept personnel action.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Carried. Thank you. Action items. Monica. Maureen.
Okay, so action item 6.1 today is vote to approve the projects and allocations for fiscal year 2024 community development block grant funding consideration.
Yeah, motion to accept.
Yeah, I will make the motion.
Second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Okay, 6.2 is vote to approve the resolution 2024 to submit Lycoming County's for fiscal year 2024 community development block grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development.
Can you kind of explain this a little bit for the kids? Kind
Sure.
of explain the process and how it goes about.
Sure. So the Treasury has funds that it delivers to the states, and the states split that money up into the counties. So the county is responsible for implementing community development projects, and we come to the commissioners to have them approve those projects and the way that funding is implemented.
It might give an example or two of where the project might be.
Sure. So this year we are hoping to approve funding for a project at the YWCA. So they help domestic abuse victims and homeless individuals. So we help funding. They are improving their building in different ways. So that's how some of the money is being used. That's one.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All fair side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, 6.3, vote to approve resolution 2024 18 designating 504 compliance officer.
Good question.
Yeah, what is a 504 compliance officer?
The compliance officer is, in this case, it's Matt McDermott. He is a person who is receiving any compliance complaints from the community.
I get it. I understand.
You can just add if you like.
Yeah.
It's, sorry, Monica.
You're fine. Thank you.
Jamie,
So-
you just introduce yourself real
Yeah,
quick.
I'm Jamie Schroeder. I'm a manager for the C2G program at CEDACOG. I've been training Monica. She's doing a fabulous job. Section 504 is a federal program that cross-cuts all federal funding, and it requires that the county have a plan in place to address any accessibility issues in any of the county facilities or buildings. So Matt McDermott, in this case, appointed a compliance officer to receive any complaints or questions about accessibility at any. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye. Thank you.
Okay, and lastly, 6.4 is just the vote to approve the Fair Housing Resolution 2024.
Okay. And briefly, could you explain the fair housing?
Sure. So the Fair Housing Resolution just makes sure that no one is discriminated against. So any individual has a right to fair housing in this community.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
It wasn't that long. It was probably in the 60s, late 60s. Banks could refuse your application for skin color. If you were a woman, there were just at total discretion until the Fair Housing Act came into play. You hear term redlining, they used to go on maps and actually draw lines where they wouldn't give loans into these areas to certain people. And because of back in the days, it was more ethnic. There was, the Italian section and the Greek section. And so that's what this has all come to. Now they just look at credit scores, income levels, things like that. All the other aspects have been eliminated.
Thank you, Monica.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.
25, Jason, are you on the line?
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
It's hidden back.
Oh, I didn't always hear either. That bright yellow just blinded right there.
Jason, before we,
Good morning, Commissioners, Director.
before we start, could you explain your title of what you oversee for the youth in the audience so that they have an idea what goes on their side of the mountain?
I'll even keep it PG at that, Commissioner. Good morning. I'm Jason Yorks. I'm the Director of the Lycoming County Resource Management Services, AKA the landfill, the recycling center, and the transfer station on Third Street in Williamsport. We have a 61,000 square foot material recovery facility where if your parents or you guys recycle with a hauler or you take it to a drop off, that material comes to our facility. We process it, bale it, sell it. The waste that your haulers bring from your street comes to our facility. We pack it, put it in a big mountain and let methane gas come off of it. And of course, the transfer station is just down at Third Street by the bus center. So we have 1,076 acres that we've purchased from the Federal Bureau of Prisons last year. So we have an extreme amount of life left in the landfill. So no shortage of that. And then just as I say here today, I'm presenting to the commissioners item 6.5, which is to rebuild an engine for Ford F-750 from Cummins Sales and Service, the amount of $30,979.92. This wasn't foreseen, but we do keep a budget for maintenance and repair. So instead of buying a new engine, we had this one torn apart and rebuilt. It's always fun, sir.
And this is a $20 million operation on the other side of the mountain. So all the garbage that people get rid of, it goes over there, processed and put in the ground, and they have a lot of regulations that they have to go by. At the same time, they're independent. So all the money that they have over there runs the landfill. So none of the tax dollars that the taxpayers pay make that operation go.
Commissioner Marbuto would be very proud. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
They're self-sufficient.
Yes.
We are the only county in Pennsylvania that owns its own landfill. Back in the 70s, I think it was in the 70s, wasn't it? Someone had the vision because disposal is expensive and it's not easy. Not only does it make us money, but you get to other counties, we take trash from other counties. And because it's ours and because it's here, we can charge our taxpayers less to use our services than other people because they don't have one, so they don't have this advantage. Not only do we get trash from neighboring counties, sometimes we get it from other states because, again, this is an issue. So we are fortunate that someone 40, 50 years ago had the foresight to do this.
It was a board of commissioners, of course, Jerry Walls, former planning director. He was actually in the hearings. He's told me many of the war stories, but yes, it was in the 70s. Of course, the federal government come out with some stricter regulations. Most townships had their own dumps, and the state and the federal government recognized they had to get some kind of a control over it because folks were still drinking well water and things like that. So the liner system, everything we have over there is regulated. Not only do I have the board of commissioners that I answer to, like Lycoming County, but we service 9 counties for waste, 4 counties for recycling. The materials that we bring out of state that the commissioner mentioned is sludge. We call it fun mud. The sludges are the leftover product from sewer plants. We mix that in with our waste. It produces excellent gas, takes up very little airspace. But I have a lot of bosses because not only the board of commissioners, 80 employees, but we also have DEP, EPA, Susquehanna River Council. We have numerous organizations and agencies that we report to annually, semi-annually, monthly, quarterly. We have a ton of reports we have to send in. So we are not just the dump. We are probably your largest science project you'll ever see. And we recruit chemists, engineers, professional engineers, solicitors, you name it, we have to use it. So,
And they do provide tours if you're interested.
we do. Recycling tours, landfill tours.
Yeah, it's an impressive operation if you have an opportunity to go over.
That was one of the more eye-opening things for me. When he says it's a big science project, it is. You figure like, if you've ever been to the train, it's just a place where you pile trash. But what do they do with the methane gas and how do they cover it when it's full? And how do they manage it? Because you can only pile so much and then you've got to cover it and you plan over it. And what do they do with it? It is a fascinating thing. And I don't even really like science, but it is a fascinating process that they do. It's just continuous because You people make trash every day.
COVID was a great example of that. Our staff had to work. Recycling was shut down and that sent the whole community into a tizzy, but we got it back up and running, of course, at the unknowns of COVID, but the landfill staff could never stop, kind of like the prison. We keep Maya's department very busy because we do a lot of vendor work. We have tons of outside vendors that we have to work with. Engines, parts, grease, oil, diesel. We go through probably 8,000 gallons of diesel a week. So we have large bulk deliveries every week. Just amazing amount of stuff that we have to take in to keep the operation going. And we're just one facility. I think there's 47 landfills in the state right now. There's professional organizations that we all try to work through. SWANA, the Solid Waste Association of North America, and there are lobbyist groups, things like that. So it's an entire industry that people don't take notice to because they put the garbage out on the curb and then turn their back to it and walk away and don't give it another thought. So
It's very dangerous work also. You have to be
Yes,
very
it is.
careful of safety because some of the inclines they're on and the
Yep.
equipment that they're operating, the heavy equipment they're operating on. So it's
then I get to call the commissioners or Director McDermott and tell him the $300,000 D4 dozer got struck by lightning and completely wiped out. That's only 2 years old. And insurance claims are still working on that project, but we just have massive amount of equipment and resources. to take
where there's
care
a
of.
fire.
Yeah, lithium batteries right now are very much a hot topic. I finally see some movement in legislation throughout certain states. I think we're going to get some help and relief from legislation for lithium batteries and how to contain that. Yeah, that's still going, but it became such a massive issue that you couldn't ignore it. It's getting some traction. More to follow on that. It's good.
He said it was dangerous. You were picturing Star Wars with that creature in the trash.
Of course.
That motion accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
They're too young. They didn't
Thank
see
you,
Star
Commissioner.
Wars. Thanks. They did.
Thank you.
They liked it.
6.6 and 6.7, Nancy. Don't forget to explain.
Morning, Nancy.
Commissioners. 6.6 is, we're looking for your approval for the Level Up Academy. This is a renewal for Allegheny, we're in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. And they have, 5 different programs that we're asking for your approval on.
Okay, Nancy, you work for juvenile probation. Can you kind of explain what your role is with them?
I facilitate, the contracts for juvenile probation.
Okay. These are the programs that the juvenile probation office utilizes when they have to do different types of placements, things, or even non-placements, different types of programming. Okay, is there any questions on the first one? The academy.
Nope.
Motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next.
Like I said, I want to give your approval for some, doing business at Summit Academy, renewal for Butler County, PA, that's where they are. And they have also 6 programs, that we're looking to have your approval on.
And type of services for adolescent inpatient drug and alcohol programs, residential services there also. And their programs are correction replacement training, victim awareness, gun violence, drug therapy, and life skills. Group sessions that they have there. Okay, is there any,
And there's simple increases for both of them this year, thankfully.
yes. Nancy's very good at trying to keep the cost down for the county. And there's a shortage of these facilities nationally and statewide as the numbers continue to unfortunately grow for placements. And so the fees go up. And she does a good job with keeping the cost minimal. She negotiates a lot of these contracts on behalf of the county, such as Maya does with her role. So we want to thank Nancy for her work. Very good at Nancy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye. Thank you, Nancy. Have a good day.
Commissioner, you too.
Yep.
6.8, Leslie, amendment with Marco. Explain what you do.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning, Matt. Leslie, I work in Information Services. We take care of all the computer systems in Lycoming County, including the landfill that Jason just talked about. Our job is nothing as interesting as his. I highly recommend going for a tour at the landfill, though. Highly recommended. Today, we're asking your approval to add 7 new copiers to our Marco contract. This will actually increase our total from $34.76 and 82 cents to $44.03 and 94 cents. But this actually takes our cost per page from our copiers from 0.008 for black and white to 0.00375, and color is going to go from 0.05 to 0.033.
Great. And Leslie, you also oversee the phone system.
Phone systems,
Any technology.
yeah, all technology. We actually take care of mail. We take care of internal printing. We take care of records retention. So we cover quite a bit in information services.
Yeah. So you wear many hats. Thank you. Can I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Have a good day.
Kenny, 6.9 and 6.2.
Morning. Kindly introduce yourself, explain a little bit what you do.
Alrighty. Ken George, County Facilities. We pretty much take care of the buildings. We do the maintenance portion of it, as far as basic things as changing lights, and anything that goes wrong with the buildings. But we also do large builds. We'll go in and do a design, and go in and tear parts of the buildings apart, rebuild them to new offices, more modern environment for their workers. We take care of purchasing the electrical, the gas, all our natural resources that we use. We monitor them to make sure that we're keeping that in check, that we're not wasting natural resources that the earth has. So we also work very tightly with pretty much every department. IT department, we run their cables for them, we certify them, we install their equipment, that kind of stuff. So we're pretty much all over the county as well. All the HVAC work, that kind of thing, that we do all that stuff.
So Ken and his staff oversee the buildings. They do the construction, electrical, plumbing, HVAC. I mean, they do it all, and they have saved taxpayers, especially through their bills. But the sheriff's bill in the 3rd floor, the 4th floor, the District Justice Solomon's office up in Lycoming Creek Road, they have literally saved the taxpayers millions of dollars. Because if we would have had to bid this out to private contractors, it would have cost millions and millions of dollars more than what his crew has done over the years. So we want to thank you and your staff for their dedication. And they do things efficient. They do things right. When they do something, when they build something, it's built right. And when we came over to this floor in July, they moved us from the Executive Plaza across the street. And I would match them against any moving company, because we thought maybe it might take a week. You know, we were in here in 2.5 days. And with Leslie's crew, Mark's crew, and your crew, nothing was missed. I mean, nothing. We were just absolutely amazed on how quick they did it, how professional they did it. And the only thing, I think you lost my chair.
Yeah, it worked out.
Which is kind of a standard joke.
I saw it upstairs the other day when Ken and I were walking around.
But the hundreds of pieces of equipment they moved, the furniture, was amazing. So it was fantastic. So that's just a small example. But the bills, District Justice Solomon's bill was amazing. Building and the sheriff's office, and continue. You have a long list of assignments yet to do. And we thank you for what you do in your department.
How long have you been with the county?
9 years.
That's 29 years. You're
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, one of the thing I like about Ken is, like I said, sometimes in life, when people have been somewhere a long time, after a while, they start seeing retirement, they start to phone it in a little bit. They don't work as hard as they do, or as hard as they used to, or as hard as they should. Ken and his staff are diligent. He does look to save us money. The worst part of his job is sometimes he gets stuck between, or sometimes he gets to make decisions, and then sometimes he's dealing with department heads, and he's dealing with architects, and he's dealing with commissioners, and sometimes he gets yo-yoed back and forth. Somebody wants this and somebody wants that, and Ken has to sort it all out. And I'm sure that is frustrating at times.
Part of the job.
But it's part of it, and he does a nice job with it. And we're happy to have him.
I told him to only listen to me and then Kenny, for the students. I just don't remember the number off the top of my head, but when we talk about all the facilities that we have countywide, total square foot.
Just around 400,000 square feet, spread all over the county.
So to put that in perspective, this building is
153-ish.
we have a lot of space that these guys
A lot of equipment.
manage to take care of.
And just overseeing things, just overseeing the bills, for instance, the electrical bills. You know, he watches this stuff and forecasts things so that we can try to get a better rate with PPL, a better rate with different agencies, you know, to even save money on that end. So you're constantly looking at all expenses.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, for
Every penny
instance,
counts.
when we did this floor, there was some special lighting that was out in the hallway that was on the commissioner's wing that kind of was too elaborate. And we don't want that. We want to be the same as the employees have. We should be the same. So he brought it to our attention, and that saved about $50,000. And we said, change that immediately. So, and the wattage that those lights would have used over the course of time was a lot more. It was equivalent to a couple floors.
That's 4 floors. 4 additional floors.
So by utilizing the same lighting, it reduced that drastically.
Right.
So these are the things that he catches, brings it to our attention, and then we make the corrections right away, especially when we're saving money.
And we sold a building, so we got smaller, but we're building a coroner's office. We're building a magistrate's office in Jersey Shore. So, you know, we get smaller here and we get bigger here, and it's a constant puzzle.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank
moving
you.
on to the item.
Okay, before you is a amendment with McClure Corporation, HVAC. All it's doing is extending the completion date for it to December 31st, 2026.
Okay, got a motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
On your side?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Got one more.
The second amendment is with Integratech. It's to extend their contract through 2027. And it looks like it's going to be roughly $75 increase per year for the contract. They provide all the chemical analysis and the chemicals for all our HVAC systems, keep them running properly.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
On your side?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
11, Malik.
All right, Malik.
My name is Malik Fleming.
Introduce yourself and just a little bit about what you do.
My name is Malik Fleming, Community and Economic Development Planner. Primarily in my department, we manage grants and the different projects in the county. Lately, I've been working on wayfinding, which is a part of the signage project for the Riverwalk and the surrounding trails. A little bit on the solid waste plan for the landfill, and numerous housing projects, which includes this item. This item focuses around the fair funds, which are gas tax revenue funds, and they support housing programs, so like subsidy-based programs or housing rehabilitation projects in the county.
cases, the Greater Lycoming Habitat for Humanity, which is a fantastic organization. Built homes locally here. Okay, a motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
A second. All in favor, side. Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. And Maya,
Morning.
morning. You want to explain to the kids what you do and
Sure. I'm the
Can you explain
director.
to us what you do?
Yeah. I'm the director of financial management. So I oversee grants, purchasing, the county budget, debt service, grants. Missing anything?
yeah,
Purchasing.
how many do you think we have right now that
Grants, we actually just started doing that because we're getting audited on a bunch of things. I think we have right now 99. And then we have approximately that are just active with us. We have about anywhere between 15 to 20 pass-throughs, which is monies that come into the county and we pass on to another agency for administration.
we bring in about 39 million as taxes. We have over $100 million budget. And those extra revenues that provide the programs and the services to this county, those millions and millions of dollars come through grants and programming that Maya locates, her staff locates, the department heads, elected officials locate federally and statewide to bring to the county to provide those services. Maya oversees all of that. Plus the Act 13, which is the gas monies.
Yep, we have opioid monies now that we are dealing with through the litigation efforts,
Yep.
which we passed through the West Branch Drug and Alcohol for substance abuse and
That was,
ARPA.
that was-
ARPA,
yeah.
ARPA, which I can't
The
wait for
opiate-
those to go away.
The opiate monies came from a federal lawsuit, which I forget how many billions of dollars was, remember? Yeah, but each county was allocated so much money. You oversee that, plus the American Rescue Plan money
Yes,
and the CARES money that came back down through COVID.
CRBG monies that
Yep.
came down.
So
Yep.
a lot of work and a lot of oversight.
Yes. Busy.
Okay, what do we have today, Maya?
So I have a couple items for you. The first item I have is vote to approve the lease agreement with Lycoming Clinton Joinder Board. As you know, they moved over into this building with us on the 4th floor, and this just solidifies that process. So essentially, it's a 20-year lease, and they have an option to renew it for 10 additional years. And that can be determined on the cost for which they would pay. But currently, for the 20 years that they're paying, they're going to pay 1/6 of every operating cost that we have. That includes our utilities, as well as, we don't like to say the rent because that's not how they can pay from, but they will help offset the cost for their being in that space by 1/6 of our bond cost.
And we don't have an exact dollar figure.
No, we don't, because the bond was, he ended up doing it twice to get a better rate. So the bond split in two ways. So the one bond costs one amount with interest and then another. So what we're working on right now, Rhonda and I, is determining if interest can be part of that reimbursement process by the state. And if it is, great. That means more money back to the county. If not, then we're just stuck with truly what the bond payment is.
We do know that the $40,000+ per month that we were paying at the old facility,
Yes.
which is over $500,000 roughly a year. This 1/6 of the bill here is substantially a lot lower.
Absolutely. A lot cheaper for them to operate. And again, have more resources to put back into the county to help offset the need.
They can utilize those extra monies to put back into the mental health services.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And 20 years from now, you'll be here to
I hope not.
discuss this renewal.
I hope not. No, that'll put me at 80.
I and I both hope we're not having to worry.
Yes.
Over here too.
Okay, so have any questions? No? Okay. Motion to accept.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in fair side?
Aye.
Thank
And the
you.
last item I have for you is a vote to approve the form of agreement with Apollo Group. That's the amount of $60,000. This is in response to the bid we put out for transformer replacement out at the prison, which is the 2024 budget item they have this year in their capital budget. This will help
offset that project that they have there going on. But I think they hope to have it completed here by the end of October. And that'll be done like on a third shift to not interfere with operations.
Yeah, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
I don't know, is Tom here? If I think I was supposed to fill in if Tom
Yeah, I don't
wasn't
see
here.
him.
Okay, so I'll just do Tom's too. So we're voting to ratify a grant award agreement that we have with First Community Foundation in the amount of $15,000. This is to help offset the costs that we have in the district attorney's office for bulletproof vests.
This is one example of the grants. Applied for this, received it.
Yep.
And so $15,000 to go help pay for bulletproof vest.
Yep.
For the officers. So good example of what we were just talking about. Okay, thank you. Have a motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We want to thank the First Community Foundation for the grant.
Yes, they're always a big supporter of the county and
Yep.
great partner.
Yes, they are. All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Maya.
Commissioner comment.
The only thing I would say, since we have a group of kids here today, is a lot of this stuff that we deal with on a day in and day out basis is not glamorous and exciting. It's not like the dates where people get in arguments. You know, like we have someone retire from a department and we decide, do we need to fill that job or can we redistribute? You know, we look for little ways to save money, like, you know, when Ken came to us and said we can do a different lighting system and it's going to save us $50,000 a year. You know, just there's lots of those little things that we make decisions on. But local government, whether it's, you know, county government, school board, you know, Mark worked for the Loyalsock Township for years. You can really, really make a difference to your own community. It's not grand. It's not on a national level. We're not on CNN. If we are on CNN, it's probably for something really bad happened in our area. That's what happens. But you really can. So as you get older, pay attention to what's going on in your community. Like we said, you know, school board wise and township wise, and the lower you get, you know, even if you've ever been, you know, involved in your church or something like that, you can see, you know, just the community impact. And it's not glamorous. They don't build statues for you. You know, they don't have parades for you, but you can really make a positive difference in people's lives, even if they don't know you're making a positive difference in people's lives. So just to pay attention and to understand, you don't have to run for U.S. Senator. You don't have to, you know, like in the state House of Representatives, I think, aren't there 203 people in the Pennsylvania State House? Here, there's just 3 of us. Now they're voting for stuff all over Pennsylvania and they have more people to worry about, they're bigger. But here there's 3 of us and the 5 of us end up making a lot of decisions and we put our heads together and so anyway, I know a lot of it's not exciting, it's not boring, but if you're into community service and trying to help those people who need help, who can't do it for themselves, you can really make a difference.
We all have to reach out to the townships, the boroughs, because they're the hands-on. They know what's going on in their communities, and you know, local governments where things get accomplished, things get done, and so we want to hear from them and hear what they have to say because they're the eyes and ears of their individual communities. They can bring the information to us that we might not know about, that we can try to help them make a difference.
Just because I like to disagree with Commissioner Messina, it is very glamorous. We are on video every week. So we're like movie stars sitting up here. YouTube, we got all kinds on YouTube every week.
We wanted a makeup artist and I said no.
But no, to both these gentlemen's point and for the youth that's here today. I mean, it you know, kind of as we talked about with the sheriff's office, it takes a particular type of person. It also takes a particular type of person to give back to the community. But as they both said, you know, and I started out as a Loyalsock Township supervisor. You can make a difference within your own community. You can mold your community. You can make it better. You can have cost savings. You can have tax savings. You know, that's the other thing that I would share also with the public today is, you know, today we removed 2 more positions from our TDA. And, you know, prior to me sitting here, and that's the thing, you know, sometimes we do have some glory that we understand some things that unfortunately, taxpayers don't understand or see because they're not sitting here. So I never would have known what the TDA was or why any of that mattered until Commissioner Metzger explained it to me. So if we leave a job on a TDA, we pay, or the taxpayers pay for the health care for that open position and the retirement for that open position. We actually have to remove it to see the cost of insurances and everything. So these are things we've been focused in on because our ultimate goal as our first term for Mark and I, second term for Scott, but he's promised it to the taxpayers through his campaigns is to not raise taxes and create efficiencies. And as Mark said, when somebody retires, we look at the efficiencies of the department. Maybe we spend a little more on some computers, or maybe we spend a little more, in some sort of technology to help that department. But we look at it and say, okay, we can save the taxpayers that money, that position, and then to the simple things of the buildings and things like that. But it really, truly, you can make a huge difference here. And I love what Commissioner Messina said, because I had a lot of people who wanted me to run for state representative. And when you look at that and you get 200 votes, how do you get anything accomplished? 3 of us can agree, disagree, whatever. We can go back here in the back room and say, hey, let's move it forward. If only 2 of us agree. And there's no other form of government that allows you to do that. So this is really, county commissioners are really kind of your core and base of the government for the people, with the people, as opposed to when you get to Harrisburg and Washington.
They're way more glamorous apparently than I thought.
We're way more glamorous
Way
than you
more.
thought.
I undervalue my glamorous.
I had a gentleman yesterday when I was leaving tell me that I looked like a movie star getting off the elevator.
You did?
He must have, you can't be able to, maybe it was the same guy.
Did he say which movie stuff?
He did not.
Because that, it could hinge depending on how
It could.
Guys are killing me today.
All right.
Okay, any other comments? I think that was enough.
I've said all I have.
Any public comment? Anything from the audience?
Questions from the students?
Are they all still awake?
Questions?
And what group, what grade are you guys all coming from?
We do, it's at 9 to 12.
9 through 12, okay.
So are you over by Joe's Pizza? Is that, you guys are over?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm north. Is Pastor Bexler still there?
Yeah.
He's still the boss?
As Commissioner Messina would tell you, everything that comes out of Lowestoft's good, so you're very lucky.
I don't know if I agree with that. Joe's Pizza is really.
You're on top of Joe's Pizza, so you can't go hungry.
You can't, I would not say anything bad about Joe's Pizza. Us people from Montoursville have issues with Loyal Sock sometimes. We love the Golden Strip. We love Joe's Pizza. Other than that, we disagree on something.
Attention. One online? Okay.
How we do have one?
These are all from Thomas. Good morning, Lycoming County. Thank you for all the support for our law enforcement officers and all staff. As we witness increasing crime in the nation, we must continue to ensure we have people determined to uphold our Constitution and rule of law. To have these people know they have the full support of their communities is imperative. Whenever serving, whether in serving non-criminal or petty criminal activity to the most violent crime and dangerous situations, that these heroes know their work is fully appreciated and that all crime will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And that no crime is not inconsequential. See, in many areas, we witness Soros's backed AGs who are paid to ignore our godly Constitution and refuse to protect law and order. We must not allow these things to happen here. As citizens and officials, we're all responsible to ensure the rule of law is upheld. See anyone coming into to be slack or non-responsive or wanting to reduce financial support of those departments, we as citizens must demand public hearings to determine if removal is appropriate. We cannot allow outside influences to change our local authority requirements for law enforcement for a safe and decent and orderly society.
We gotta go. I would say one more thing while he's still searching. On the county, the way it works, because there's 3 county commissioners in every county in the state. There has to be one from each party. So here we have 2 Republicans and I'm the Democrat. And that's the way it is mostly in the center of the state where it's very Republican. In the cities like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, it's flipped. So there's 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. What I would stress, I know that the world doesn't kind of teach you this. When we were kids, politics wasn't this volatile. Whether you're Republican or Democrat didn't cause anger and hatred like it does now. So we disagree on some things politically, but we get along very, very well. And you know, we joke, we joke about things, but when it comes down to the stuff that we need to work on, we work well together. And we agree on the vast majority of the things that we discuss. You know, some of us are going to vote for Kamala, some of us aren't. Some of us I'm trying to sway, but you know, when we get down, if we focus more on what we agree on than what we disagree on, I think in society we agree on most things. And you know, we know we live in a great country. We think we're all fortunate to live in this area. There's so many wonderful things about Lycoming County, and so as you get older, please don't, whatever side of the political aisle you're on. And some people don't really care politically. And we've learned that through our jobs. You know, we've had people that work at the county that says, I don't care about politics. I'm just trying to do my job. So I've met husbands and wives. I have a friend who's very passionate Democrat and his wife's a Republican and they've been married for 40 years. So it just, you know, don't let the craziness of national politics and world politics affect your friendships and your lives. And you know, hopefully you can work with lots of people who have lots of different beliefs. Just focus on what you agree on and focus on whether they're good people or not whether they agree with everything you say.
Anything else?
Yeah. So cannot allow outside influences to change our local authority and requirements for law enforcement for safe society. This includes any state or federal authorities that might try to usurp our local governmental authorities. We are losing the nation to chaos because the citizenry of problem areas expect someone else to do the right thing. Our elected officials must know their constituents have their backs. The right thing God demands is from everyone. Want liberty. Violence gain control, chaos ensues, and we only have ourselves to blame. Suicide prevention law. Walk out of the darkness event will be held at Indian Park on Sunday. Everyone there.
Yeah. Say what time that is?
And I'm sorry, that one was for me.
What time is the suicide walk? We don't.
Doesn't say.
Okay. Sure, it's online. Pat, do you happen to know? Okay. It's a very important cause and a walk that needs to be recognized. Okay, thank you. Anything else from anybody else? Okay, we have completed our agenda. So our next meeting, October 3rd, 2024, right here in this meeting room, 10 a.m. Thank you everyone for attending. Have a great day. Great rest of the week.
12 o'clock. Huh? 12 o'clock, the walk.
12 o'clock. Great, thank you.
12 o'clock?
What's the 12 o'clock?
Suicide.
Prevention.
Thank you.
Where's that?
Suicide prevention.
Where is it?
Thank you. No idea.